You ever watch someone die while the rules are being read out loud like scripture? That's how my grandfather went on the living room floor, gasping for breath, while a woman with a clipboard blocked the ambulance and quoted bylaws like she was reciting the 10 Commandments. And the craziest part, that wasn't even the worst thing she did. This all happened in Sycamore Trails, a place that looks nice on the outside, neatly trimmed hedges, smiling neighbors, patriotic mailboxes, but underneath, it's all fear, fines, and fake smiles. My family's been here for over 150 years. We own the last original house on the block, this old Victorian with creaky floors, stained glass windows, and a plum tree out back that's older than the HOA itself. Grandpa Walter, he was 76, tough old man, ex-cop, made his own jam, climbed his own ladders, never asked for help unless he absolutely had to. I'd flown back home to help him get the place updated, new locks, smart cams, even a voice assistant. He called it, the little snitch in the wall. Said if people were gonna turn their homes into computers, he might as well learn the language. He wasn't wrong. That Tuesday morning, everything was fine until it wasn't. We were drinking coffee, talking about the neighborhood gossip, when his face just changed. 1 second he's smacking about someone's ugly holiday lights, the next he's clutching his chest, collapsing to the floor, trying to say something but couldn't get the words out. I dropped my mug, got down on the floor, started CPR while calling 911. The dispatcher was quick. 8 minutes, they said. I could hear the sirens in the distance. But that's when she showed up. Meredith Langley, president of the HOA, queen of Sycamore Trails, and possibly the most dangerous person I've ever met in my life. She pulled up in her spotless white SUV, parked sideways across our only access road, got out wearing sunglasses and a silk scarf like she was headed to a funeral. Maybe she was. The ambulance came around the corner, sirens blaring, and she waved her clipboard at them like a traffic cop. This vehicle violates our neighborhood's height restriction, she said. And those sirens exceed decibel limits. You need to find another way. They told her this was a medical emergency. She didn't care. Said the rules were there to protect the community and that allowing chaos is a slippery slope. By the time they got through, after rerouting, after precious minutes lost, my grandfather was gone. Just like that. He died looking at me. His last words barely a whisper were, Meredith Cloud backup Lucy 1984. Then nothing. I didn't even cry. I just sat there. I knew what he meant. See, I work in cybersecurity. Not the sexy hacker in a hoodie kind, more like corporate breach prevention, encryption auditing, all that boring stuff that becomes real damn important when someone's trying to erase the truth. So when Grandpa said a cloud backup, I knew exactly where to look. He'd been recording everything: camera feeds, audio logs, smart assistant queries, all of it encrypted and stored remotely. I accessed the archive that night and started going through it. That's when things got weird. There were voice logs of Meredith whispering outside our house at 2 a.m. Things like, "It's getting too close," and "We'll need to act before the board meeting." There were flag searches in the smart assistant history: Jessica Langley, cause of death, how to trigger a pacemaker remotely, elder law, fraud, statute of limitations. Jessica Langley was Meredith's sister. Supposedly died by suicide 15 years ago. But on that cloud backup, there was a synced clip: Meredith pacing her kitchen, practicing what sounded a hell of a lot like a confession. She wouldn't shut up about the inheritance. I had no choice. First Jessica, now Walter. They keep digging, they always dig. Let me back up. SEC Walter had been looking into some shady stuff around the HOA. He found out that Meredith had changed her name, that Redstone Properties, the company that had been buying up foreclosed homes, was registered to a holding company connected to her old name. He was connecting dots, and she knew it. So she did what she always did: eliminate the problem. But this time, she left breadcrumbs. I reached out to a retired detective, Mallory Perez used to be Grandpa's partner back in the day. She listened, she didn't blink. Said, "You think she killed him? Prove it." "But if you're right, this goes way deeper than some HOA vendetta." Together we dug in. I decrypted system logs, pulled metadata from every motion sensor, audio blip, and device pin. Mallory chased legal leads, contacted old colleagues. Turns out, 2 other deaths had been ruled natural causes in the last 6 years, both in Sycamore Trails, both shortly after large fines and public HOA disputes. Both homes sold to Redstone at foreclosure auctions. So I built a dossier. Every connection, every IP address, every quiet whisper Meredith thought no one heard. And then I set the bait. I left Towner, at least that's what I let her think. Posted vacation photos, had a friend drive my car across the state line. Meanwhile, I stayed holed up in the attic of the house, cameras on, alarms off, waiting. 3 nights later, she came. It was quiet, real quiet, until the porch light tripped. She stepped into the foyer like she owned the place, carrying a device I instantly recognized as a signal jammer and what looked like a butane accelerant sprayer. She was gonna torch the place, wipe out every last piece of evidence. But I was already watching from the crawl space, streaming her every move to a secure drive. She walked through the living room, paused by the photo of Grandpa in his police uniform, and muttered, "You just couldn't leave it alone, could you?" She turned to the hallway, and that's when I stepped out. "Looking for this?" I said, holding up her own USB drive. She froze. I watched the panic crawl across her face. "You were supposed to be gone." "I was. Now you are." Cops were waiting outside. Mallory had arranged the whole sting leave surveillance, warrant in hand. Meredith didn't even make it past the hedges before she was face down in the lawn, screaming about entrapment and legal gray areas. She's now facing charges for obstruction, involuntary manslaughter, cyber intrusion, and attempted arson. Redstone. Under federal investigation. Sycamore Trails. Got a whole new board now, and let's just say long fines have taken a backseat to actual community safety. And Grandpa. He was right. He always said, technology can be your best witness if you know where to listen. I sit on that same porch now, late at night, sometimes talking to the smart speaker like he's still here. Sometimes I hear the wind, or the owl in the tree, or maybe it's just the quiet that comes after truth finally wins. But I tell you, this Meredith wasn't just one bad neighbor. She was the kind of evil that hides behind civility. Polished, polite, always within the lines until someone threatens her kingdom of lies. So what do you think? Was justice really served? Or are we just scratching the surface of how power gets abused in places like this? Drop a comment. Tell me what you would have done if it were your family, your home, your life on the line. Because sometimes, the real villains don't wear masks. They wear pearl earrings and run your HOA.